Have you ever held on to something so tightly that it started to hurt, but you just couldn't let go? I remember clinging to a friendship that had long since faded. Every message I sent felt heavier, every silence more painful. I convinced myself that holding on would keep things the same, but all it did was deepen my disappointment. One day, I read a quote by Marcus Aurelius: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's when it hit me. Letting go wasn't weakness, it was courage. Letting go was the only way forward. In today's video, we'll explore why releasing control, expectations, or even people might be the strongest move you'll ever make. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll see that letting go isn't an end. It's the beginning of a freer, more empowered you. 1. The psychology of attachment. Let's start with why letting go feels so hard. Have you ever tried to throw away an old broken item but found yourself hesitating? Maybe it was a mug with a cracked handle or a sweater you haven't worn in years. It's not just the thing you're holding on to, it's what it represents. In psychology, this is called attachment. We form bonds with people, objects, and even ideas because they make us feel safe. But here's the catch. Attachment often goes beyond what's healthy. A job that once gave you purpose might now feel suffocating, yet you stay because the title feels important. A friendship that brought joy in the past might now bring drama, but you hold on because it's familiar. The human brain tricks us into believing that if we let go, we'll lose something essential. But have you noticed the things that weigh us down rarely bring us joy anymore? They're like heavy luggage on a journey. We carry them because we think we have to. What if you didn't? What if letting go isn't about losing something, but about freeing yourself? Let's explore this idea further, because understanding attachment is only the beginning. What happens when you actually release that weight? 2. The freedom of release. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, holding a stone. It's heavy, pulling at your arm, but you've been holding it for so long that you barely notice the strain anymore. Now, imagine letting it go, watching it fall, hearing the sound of it hit the ground far below. That's the freedom of release. Letting go is like breathing out after holding your breath for too long. It's not just a physical act, it's an emotional one. When you release something, a grudge, a failed expectation, or even a toxic relationship, you create space for something better. Take relationships, for example. How many times have you stayed connected to someone out of guilt or habit, even when you knew deep down it wasn't right? Letting go of that connection doesn't erase the good times. It honors them. It says, "This served me once, but I'm ready to grow beyond it." And here's the beautiful part. When you let go, you don't just free yourself, you free that person too. It's a mutual gift of growth and possibility. So what's holding you back from releasing that stone? 3. Letting go versus giving up. Now here's where most people get stuck. They think letting go means they've failed. But letting go isn't giving up, it's leveling up. Giving up is saying, "I'm not good enough." Letting go is saying, "This isn't good enough for me anymore." Think of it like a ship that's run its course. Giving up would be abandoning ship in the middle of the ocean, sinking with your fears. Letting go is docking the boat, stepping onto shore, and finding a new path. This distinction matters because society often glorifies holding on, no matter the cost. Never quit, they say, but let's be real. Haven't you already learned that holding on to something out of pride or fear rarely makes you happy? So here's a better perspective. Letting go isn't about weakness. It's about wisdom. It's about knowing when to move forward without dragging the past behind you. Speaking of the past, let's dig into why forgiveness of yourself and others is one of the strongest ways to let go. 4. The role of forgiveness in letting go. Think of someone who hurt you. Maybe it was a friend who betrayed your trust, or a family member who let you down. When you think of them, does your stomach tighten? Does your heart race? That's the weight of resentment. And it's heavy. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing the hurt or pretending it didn't happen. It means choosing to let go of the hold that pain has over you. Why? Because forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Every grudge, every bitter memory adds another stone. How far can you walk with all that weight? Forgiveness is setting the bag down. It's saying, I won't let this define me anymore. And let's not forget self-forgiveness. How often do you replay your mistakes, punishing yourself long after the lesson has been learned? Forgiving yourself is an act of courage. It's recognizing that you're human and that growth comes from letting go of past failures, not clinging to them. Once you forgive, you create room for something new. And that brings us to an idea deeply rooted in wisdom: accepting life as it comes. 5. Amor fati, loving what happens. Let's dig deeper into the power of amor fati, a philosophy that encourages us to embrace life exactly as it unfolds. It's easy to love the good things in life: a new job, a supportive friend, or an unexpected windfall. But what about the hard parts? The setbacks, the disappointments, the moments where nothing seems to go your way. At first glance, it feels counterintuitive to embrace difficulties. Why would anyone want to love a breakup, a layoff, or a rejection? But amor fati isn't about pretending pain doesn't hurt. It's about accepting that everything, even the challenges, is shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned, but ultimately led you to a better outcome. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you wanted, only to realize later that it freed you to pursue a more fulfilling career. Or maybe a failed relationship taught you what you truly need in a partner. This is the heart of amor fati. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" It's not about wishing for a smooth life. It's about learning to dance in the storm. When you embrace amor fati, you stop fighting reality. And with that acceptance comes an incredible sense of peace, a readiness to let go of what you thought should happen and embrace what actually is. Let's take that peace into the next practical step: learning how to let go of the illusion of control. 6. Letting go of control. Letting go of control is one of the hardest things to do because, let's face it, control feels good. We like to plan, predict, and micromanage every detail of our lives, believing that if we hold tight enough, everything will fall into place. But here's a question for you. How often does life actually go according to plan? Control, as comforting as it seems, is often an illusion. The more we try to hold on, the more we realize how little control we actually have. Think about it. You can't control the weather, other people's actions, or even some of your own emotions. What you can control, however, is how you respond. Imagine a surfer riding a wave. They don't try to control the ocean. They adapt to its movements. They trust their skills, stay present, and let the wave carry them. Life is the same. When you let go of control, you open yourself up to flow with life instead of resisting it. Next time you're faced with uncertainty, pause and ask yourself, what am I trying to control right now that I can let go of? When you stop clinging, you create space for trust, not just in the process, but in yourself. That trust becomes even more powerful when paired with the art of forgiveness. 7. The role of forgiveness in letting go. Forgiveness is a cornerstone of letting go. Without it, we stay tethered to the past, replaying old hurts and grudges that weigh us down. And here's the thing, holding on to resentment doesn't hurt the other person. It hurts you. Let's talk about why forgiveness is so hard. We often think forgiving someone means excusing what they did or inviting them back into our lives. But forgiveness isn't about the other person. It's about freeing yourself from the anger and pain they caused. Picture this. You're carrying a backpack full of heavy stones. Each stone represents a grudge, a betrayal, or a regret. The longer you carry it, the heavier it gets. Forgiveness is choosing to set that backpack down. It doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means you refuse to let it define you anymore. Self-forgiveness is just as vital. We all have moments we're not proud of, but beating yourself up doesn't undo the past. It only prolongs the pain. By forgiving yourself, you give yourself permission to grow and move forward. When you forgive, you create space for healing. And with that healing comes a chance to simplify your life, not just outwardly, but inwardly too. Let's explore how decluttering your mind can help you let go. 8. Minimalism of the mind. We've all heard about decluttering our homes, but what about decluttering our minds? The truth is, most of us carry mental and emotional baggage that takes up valuable space. Regrets, fears, unresolved conflicts, they all pile up, leaving little room for clarity and peace. Let's break it down. Imagine your mind as a closet. If it's stuffed with old, irrelevant items, it's hard to find what you need. But when you clean it out, everything becomes easier to access. The same applies to your thoughts. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you create mental space for focus, creativity, and calm. How do you start? One powerful method is journaling. Write down everything that's been bothering you, every worry, grudge, or fear. Then, look at each one and ask, do I need to hold on to this? Often, the answer is no. Meditation is another tool for mental minimalism. It teaches you to observe your thoughts without clinging to them, like watching clouds drift across the sky. With practice, you'll find it easier to release the thoughts that don't serve you. By decluttering your mind, you're not just letting go, you're making room for growth. And that growth starts to ripple outward, impacting not just your inner world, but your relationships and priorities as well. 9. The ripple effect of letting go. Letting go doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of those around you. When you release what's weighing you down, you inspire others to do the same. Your freedom becomes a beacon, showing them what's possible. Think about a time when someone else's courage inspired you. Maybe it was a friend who left a toxic relationship or a colleague who took a bold leap toward a new career. Their decision to let go wasn't just personal. It planted a seed of possibility in you. You have the power to create that ripple effect. When you let go of a limiting belief or toxic dynamic, you set an example for others. You show them that it's okay to prioritize their well-being and pursue their truth. This ripple effect is one of the most beautiful gifts you can give, not just to others, but to yourself. Because every time you let go, you're not just changing your story, you're rewriting the narrative for everyone who looks up to you. 10. letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism sounds noble at first, doesn't it? After all, striving for excellence can motivate you to do great things. But let's be honest, how often does the pursuit of perfection leave you feeling frustrated, stuck, or never quite good enough? The truth is, perfectionism is less about doing your best and more about fearing failure. It's that little voice saying, if it's not perfect, it's worthless. But here's something you already know deep down. Nothing in life is perfect. Not you, not me, not the world around us. And that's okay. Think about some of the most meaningful moments in your life. Were they flawless? Or were they messy, unpredictable, and beautifully human? Perfectionism robs you of those moments because it keeps you stuck in an endless loop of not quite ready yet. One way to start letting go of perfectionism is to redefine success. Instead of aiming for flawless results, aim for progress. Celebrate the small wins, the lessons learned, and the courage to keep going. Like the Japanese art of kintsugi, which highlights cracks in pottery with gold, your imperfections are what make you unique. Letting go of perfectionism isn't about lowering your standards. It's about freeing yourself to embrace the process, not just the outcome. And when you do, you open yourself up to growth in ways you never imagined. Speaking of growth, let's explore how letting go and personal transformation are deeply connected. 11. The connection between letting go and growth. Growth is impossible without letting go. It's a universal truth. Every new chapter in your life begins with the end of the last one. But here's the thing, endings are often scary. They force you to confront uncertainty, to step away from what you've known, and to trust that something better lies ahead. Think about it. A seed must let go of the soil to become a sprout. A caterpillar must let go of its cocoon to become a butterfly. And you must let go of your old self to step into the person you're meant to be. Maybe you've experienced this already. Maybe you left a job that felt secure but stifling, and in doing so, discovered a passion you didn't even know you had. Or perhaps you walked away from a relationship that wasn't right for you, only to find deeper love within yourself or someone new. Letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary. Each time you release something that no longer serves you, you make space for something greater. Growth doesn't happen by clinging to the past. It happens when you trust the process and move forward with courage. 12. Letting go as a daily practice. Letting go isn't a one-time event. It's a habit. And like any habit, it takes practice. Every day, life gives you small opportunities to release something, whether it's a negative thought, a minor annoyance, or an unrealistic expectation. Start with a simple daily ritual. In the morning, set an intention to let go of one thing. It could be a worry that's been nagging at you, a moment of anger that flares up during the day, or even just the need to control how everything unfolds. At night, take a few minutes to reflect. What did I release today? How did it feel? Another powerful tool is journaling. Write down the things that are weighing on your mind, then imagine yourself physically tearing up the page or burning it, safely of course. This symbolic act helps reinforce the feeling of release. The more you practice letting go, the easier it becomes. Over time, you'll notice that the things you used to hold on to so tightly, resentments, anxieties, unrealistic standards, begin to lose their grip on you. Letting go becomes a way of life, a path to peace, and a reminder that you don't have to carry everything alone. 13. Facing the fear of letting go. If letting go were easy, Everyone would do it. The truth is, fear is often the biggest barrier. We fear the unknown. We fear losing control. We fear that if we let go, we'll have nothing left. But here's the question to ask yourself. What's scarier, letting go or staying stuck? Fear thrives on what-ifs. What if I leave this relationship and regret it? What if I fail after quitting this job? But what if those fears are just stories your mind is telling you? What if letting go is actually the key to the freedom you crave? One way to face this fear is to take small steps. You don't have to make a giant leap all at once. Start with something manageable. Let go of one small thing, a minor grudge, an old piece of clutter, or even just the need to win every argument. Notice how it feels. Each small release builds your confidence and helps you trust yourself more. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to control you. The moment you take action despite your fear, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think, and that strength grows every time you let go. 14. The role of mindfulness in letting go. Mindfulness is the foundation of letting go because it keeps you rooted in the present moment. When you're mindful, you're not stuck in the past, replaying old regrets, or lost in the future, worrying about what's to come. You're here now, fully engaged in what's happening. Think about this. How often do you dwell on things that are already over, or stress about things that haven't happened yet? Mindfulness teaches you to observe these thoughts without clinging to them. It's like watching leaves float down a stream. You see them, but you don't chase after them. A simple mindfulness practice is to focus on your breath. When your mind starts to wander, gently bring your attention back to the inhale and exhale. Over time, this helps you break free from the grip of overthinking and creates space for clarity. Letting go becomes easier when you're mindful because you're no longer fighting reality. You're accepting what is without judgment or resistance. And in that acceptance, you find the freedom to release what no longer serves you. 15. The ripple effect of letting go. Letting go doesn't just transform your life, it creates a ripple effect that inspires others. When you release what's holding you back, you show others that they can do the same. Your courage becomes their permission. Think about a time when someone you admired let go of something big. Maybe it was a friend who left a toxic relationship, a colleague who pursued a bold career change, or a public figure who overcame adversity. Their story likely moved you because it reminded you of what's possible when you choose freedom over fear. Now, imagine being that person for someone else. When you let go of limiting beliefs, unfulfilling situations, or unnecessary stress, you radiate a sense of peace and empowerment. People notice that, even if you don't realize it. This ripple effect doesn't just impact individuals, it can change entire communities. Imagine a world where more people were willing to let go of resentment, fear, and self-doubt. It starts with you, and it starts now. 16. Letting go of labels and identities. Have you ever stopped to think about the labels you carry? Maybe you've always been the reliable one, the overachiever, or the funny friend. These identities can feel comforting, but they can also box you in, making you feel like you have to live up to expectations that no longer reflect who you are. Letting go of labels is one of the most liberating things you can do. It's realizing that you don't have to be defined by your past choices or how others see you. Maybe you were once the workaholic, but now you crave balance. Or perhaps you've been the caretaker, but you're ready to prioritize your own needs. This isn't about forgetting who you are. It's about evolving. When you shed these labels, you make room for a more authentic version of yourself to emerge. You're not giving up on yourself. You're giving yourself permission to grow beyond the limits of your old identity. Ask yourself, what labels or roles have you outgrown? What might your life look like if you let them go? 17. Letting go of old goals. Here's something most people don't talk about. Not all goals are meant to be achieved. Some goals are stepping stones, helping you learn and grow, but they're not your final destination. Think about it. Maybe you've been chasing a dream for years, only to realize it doesn't excite you anymore. Or perhaps you've achieved a goal, but it didn't bring the fulfillment you expected. Letting go of these old goals can feel like failure, but it's actually a sign of wisdom. It shows that you're in tune with who you are now, not who you were when you set the goal. Consider an athlete who trains for years, only to discover their true passion lies in coaching others. Or a student who pursues a degree in one field, but later finds joy in a completely different career. Letting go of an old goal isn't quitting. It's pivoting towards something that aligns with your evolving self. Take a moment to reflect. Are there any goals in your life that no longer fit who you are? What would happen if you let them go and embraced what excites you today? 18. The hidden strength in surrender. Surrender often gets a bad reputation. People associate it with giving up or admitting defeat. But in reality, surrender is one of the strongest moves you can make because it requires trust. Trust in yourself, in others, and in the unfolding of life. Think about times when you've resisted change. Maybe you fought to save a relationship that was already over, or tried to control a situation that was out of your hands. Resistance drains your energy and keeps you stuck. Surrender, on the other hand, is about saying, "I've done my best, and now I let it be." Imagine a river flowing downstream. You can fight against the current, exhausting yourself, or you can surrender to its flow and let it carry you forward. Surrender doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop forcing. It's about finding the courage to trust that, even if things don't go according to your plan, they'll still work out. What's one area of your life where you can practice surrender today? 19. Letting go of resentment toward yourself. We often talk about forgiving others, but what about forgiving yourself? Sometimes the hardest person to let go of is the version of you who made mistakes, failed, or fell short of expectations. Carrying resentment toward yourself is like dragging a shadow everywhere you go. It dims your light and keeps you from fully embracing the present. Letting go of that resentment isn't about ignoring your mistakes. It's about acknowledging them, learning from them, and moving forward. Here's a truth you already know, but might need to hear again. You are not your worst moment. You are the sum of your growth, your resilience, and your willingness to try again. Self-compassion is the key to letting go. It's treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend who's struggling. What would it look like if you stopped punishing yourself for the past? How might your life change if you let go of the guilt and replaced it with grace? 20. Letting go of the need for external validation. How often do we let the opinions of others dictate our choices? It's human nature to seek approval. It makes us feel valued and accepted. But when we rely on external validation, we give away our power. Think about this. Have you ever held on to a decision because you were afraid of what people might think if you changed your mind? Or hesitated to take a risk because you feared judgment? Letting go of the need for validation is about reclaiming your autonomy. It's about realizing that your worth isn't determined by how others perceive you, but by how you see yourself. This doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means you stop letting their opinions control your actions. It's about stepping into your own authority and living a life that feels true to you, not one that's designed to impress others. Ask yourself, whose opinions are you prioritizing over your own? And what would happen if you chose to trust yourself instead? It's time to take a step toward freedom. Think about one thing, just one, that you're ready to let go of today. Maybe it's a label, an old goal, or the need to please everyone around you. Write it down and make a promise to yourself to release it. And remember, letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. Start small, stay consistent, and celebrate every little step forward. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we can create a ripple effect of courage, growth, and strength. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about making space for what's next. And trust me, what's next is worth it.